One thing I've noticed is there is always that one wish to be Black Americans. Every single folks from the Hispanic, Asian, Latin community, even most of them are not coming here to air it out. They have that one urge, one strong urge that they want to be Black. But the problem is they don't only want to be Black, they want to be Black Americans. But these same Black Americans that you actually want to be, are you ready to follow their pains? Are you ready to help them? Are you ready to come through for them when they are in dire need of you? Because every single person wants Black Americans to come out and rescue them. Every single person wants Black Americans to come out and show face whenever they are in trouble, whenever they are in distress. So the question is, it is not only by wishing. Are you really ready to be Black Americans? Anyways, we're going to be exploring all of that in today's video. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. If this is the first time tuning in, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches you have in today's episode. And guys, with that being said, let's dive right into this video. And I'll be back with commentaries. Let's get right into it.
To all the Black gringos that comes to Brazil, I was wondering how racism is back home with you guys, because I'm Brazilian and I'm Black, and Brazil is racist as fuck. Oh, it isn't. Oh, Brazil is not that racist. It is, because I'm Black and I live here. I was born here, raised here, and it is racist as fuck. For you guys to come here and say that, oh, this place is amazing for Black people, and I was wondering how racist your place back home must be, because I was like, if it's worse than here, man, I don't want to go there.
Brazil is an extremely racist country. What you're describing is Black Americans coming to Brazil and benefiting from being American. So when we are abroad, we benefit from having an American accent, American passport, and the American dollar. So our view of what actual racism is in a country like Brazil, while we can see it exists, it's very skewed, because we will never be treated like a Black Brazilian in Brazil because of where we're staying, what we're spending money on, and they want our money. Racism is horrible in America, but I think it's a thing where you understand the social cues, the language, and the cultural things that would tell you what racism is, or what a macro or microaggression is. In Brazil, when I lived there for 6 months. I was in Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, Belém, and Manaus. But my time in Rio de Janeiro was the most interesting one, because that was the whitest place I lived, where it had white people, mixed people, and Black people. And I stayed in a place called Leblon, which was very white, more of an upper middle class neighborhood. And I got looks every day leaving the apartment I was in. I was doing a study abroad, so I had school, but I befriended this girl, and I told her, hey, I want to go to where you hang out. I want to go to where you and your friends go. I also didn't want to be the American to go toward the favelas. That's not what I was doing, but I went to where they partied, and I had so much fun, and I felt so much more at home with Black Brazilians. And we had a conversation around where I was living, and they were like, yeah, we don't go there. Why would I ever go there? And it made me realize I was living in the equivalent of the Upper East Side in New York City, and I would never live in the Upper East Side in New York City. I think America and Brazil have a unique experience, because two countries that have so many Black people, but they are the Black people that stayed in the country of their oppressor in a way where we're the minorities in both countries, and the majority of those countries are white. I think what you're describing is something that Brazilians experience here, because if you're Brazilian with a Brazilian accent and you're exotic in America, even though you'll still be Black, right? The same way I was still Black in Brazil, and they didn't know I wasn't Brazilian until I opened my mouth and I spoke English. Racism sucks. I mean, racism exists around the world, and we all know this as Black people. But I think Americans sometimes don't realize that we benefit from being American abroad, especially in other Black places in the Caribbean and Latin America.
Let's talk about the truth. There is so much discourse lately about who is native and who is indigenous, and even the nerve to bring up who is the architect of soul food. And what everyone needs to understand is that Black people are the earth. Black people are the only unmutated humanity. They told you humans came from Africa like it was a migration story, but that's not the truth. The truth is, Africa is the first face of the earth. And blackness is the source of all biology. Everyone else? Genetic drift, mutational echo, survival glitches adapted to ice and exile. Let's talk origins. The black woman is the womb of the world. Forget the Eve in the garden story. That was a stolen metaphor. The real Eve lives in the woman's mitochondria. And not just any women. Melanin-rich, thick-hipped, thick-lipped, and copper-toned. Elegant, poised, literally perfect, planet-rooted black women. White women don't carry the full ancestral genome. Asian, Mexican, and Native women only carry fragments. Black women carry the total code. She doesn't reproduce diversity. She births the whole species. When small African offshoot groups migrated north, they weren't evolving. They were mutating, adapting to survival, not thriving. That's where lighter skin, narrow nostrils, reduced melanin, and behavioral changes began. All signs of environmental stress, not superiority. You don't get white by evolving, you get white by forgetting the sun. And that forgetting is not advancement, it's progression. The white genome contains 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA. Let me repeat, they didn't just descend from humans. They were cavemen. Black people have 0 Neanderthal admixture. That's not a joke. That's biology. Black people are the originals. Non-black people are the remix. The problem is, the remix decided to express its evil nature by attempting to erase the original track. Let's talk indigenous. The term indigenous was invented by settlers to decide who was native enough to be managed, named, and displaced. But indigenous is a political term, not a genetic one. And political terms can't overwrite blood memory. Being first on the continent does not make you first on the planet. However, black people being first on the planet means they are first on every continent. The black genome is Earth's source code. Everyone else is just running a copy of their biological operating system. The war against black genetics is a war against humanity. Melanin isn't pigment, it's the processor. It's the molecule that translates solar energy into life. Plants have it, animals have it, humans need it. Black people have the highest concentration of it, which means black people don't just live on Earth, they translate it. They are not just a race, they are the root species. Black isn't a color, it's the motherboard. Every other group, adaptations, mutations, and mistakes. This isn't supremacy. This is truth. Black people didn't come from Africa. Africa came from black people.
Focus now into the end of time needs to be us. We need to focus on eliminating the plight of the black masses by building self-sufficient communities. We need to stop explaining systemic racism to the racists that created it and live off it. We need to stop wasting our time, our energy, our soul, and focus on ourselves, focus on our community, actively building generational wealth, something that has been denied us since the beginning of this country. This is about finding solutions and implementing them, actionable solutions. So first we state one of the problems. One of the main problems is economic, right? The socioeconomic conditions that have maintained the wealth and income gaps between the white majority and black people. How do we stop this? How do we change this cycle? We need to change our buying habits by buying black first, and if possible, only. That means habitually Googling black-owned businesses near you before you buy anything. Two great online resources are the U.S. Black Chambers Inc., buyblack.us, and there's another website called supportblackowned.com. These two websites have a full directory on black-owned businesses near you. You just put in where you live and the list will come up depending on what you're looking for, whether it's retail, food, etc. I also encourage any black-owned businesses that see this post to add their business to the comment section below. We need to make buying black a habit in our community. Generational wealth is what we need to be focused on for the future of our people. We need to get in the habit of taking what is ours instead of asking for it. Instead of marching, we need to boycott, okay? Let's think about regular purchases that we make, like groceries. For example, I live in Chicago, and there's a place called Living Fresh Market in Chicago's western suburbs. They use minority vendors and they're black owned. So even though I don't live in this neighborhood, I make it a point to go there at least once a month and contribute to their success, because that's what it takes. If we all contribute to this grocery store's success, then they can open more locations. And that's how we build generational wealth. We have to support each other so we can build our success together in our own neighborhoods. If you're from Chicago, this actual grocery store is located at 7520 Roosevelt Road in Forest Park, Illinois. If you know of any other black-owned grocery stores, put them in the comment section below. You can do the same thing with retail stores, car dealerships, restaurants, barbershops, hair salons, hair stores, skincare products, exercise gyms, whatever you're going to buy. All you have to do is Google black owned first. And that is you contributing to change for our people. We have to start doing things that are actionable, things that can make a difference today, right now. Seek out black lawyers when you need one. Seek out black doctors for you and your family. Seek out black dentists. Seek out black people. Your people. When you're trying to buy a house, black real estate agents. These are the simple things that we can do in our everyday lives. So I don't want to hear about, oh, you don't have time to do this, that, and the third. This isn't your calling. None of that works anymore. We all have to put in on this. If you believe that it's about us, then you can spend your black dollar with your people. We need to support one another more than ever right now. Seek out black banks, black-owned banks. There's a great example. It's called One United. It's a full-service bank, and it's not only digital. It has locations in Boston, Miami, and Los Angeles. And it's black owned. That means when you're coming up with your small business and you want to get a loan from a bank, now you can go to a black bank that will actually look at your small business and give you a fair shot, unlike most commercial banks. Because when you walk in, you can't hide the fact that you're black. And this bank is run by a black woman, Terry Williams. So look it up, do your own research. But if it seems like something that you're ready to do, this will be a great step in the right direction. And then maybe they can become bigger too and have more than 3 locations. This right here is the thing that will separate us from our past leaders. This is the thing that we could not accomplish in the civil rights movement. We could not accomplish coming together, uniting as one, and using the power of our money, the power of our culture, the power of our minds, our souls. We never stuck together. We let them break us apart so that they could continue their reign over our communities. The only way out of what they got cooking for us is unity. And anybody that is not talking about uniting black people in America is not really about this life. In my next video, we're going to talk about another problem, which is the education system and how it is failing black people and what we need to do to correct it for our children, for their future. They don't care about us. We care about us. And that's enough. I'll see y'all in the next video. Knowledge is power, and power to the people.
White folks in this country are generational professional victims. They'll tell you they've been silenced, ignored, replaced. But when you look at history, they've had the mic, the stage, and the spotlight. And yet, somehow, they're still crying in the front row. So we see it every single time progress shows up, right? Civil rights, for instance. Suddenly, white people were the victims of reverse racism. Affirmative action, they screamed about being passed over, all while 90% of the top jobs went to them. Today, if you even whisper the words equity or reparations, it's like you committed a hate crime against their feelings. Y'all should see my DMs. But here's the thing. This victimhood isn't new. It's inherited, passed down. So go all the way back to Reconstruction. Okay? Black folks take seats in government, build schools. open businesses, and white people, they cry that their world is ending and they burn it all down. From Tulsa to Wilmington, that's the script. If we gain, they claim that they've lost. And let's not forget that the government backed their sob stories. Housing policies wrote checks to white families while redlining black neighborhoods. GI benefits flowed to them after World War II while black vets were locked out. They got the subsidies, the handouts, the safety nets, and still somehow managed to frame themselves as the ones being cheated. Professional victims. Because it's never enough to have the system tilted in their favor. They also need the sympathy. They need to be both the oppressor and the oppressed. And that's why so much of our politics sound like white temper tantrums. Project 2025? Pure victimhood politics. They're taking your America, your jobs, your schools. It's the same recycled lie. You have to keep white people scared and crying, so they don't notice who's actually cashing out at the top. Meanwhile, black, brown, and indigenous people have been carrying generational trauma, loss, and violence that we didn't ask for. We didn't choose this, and we for sure haven't gotten a bailout for it. But if you ask some folks, they're the ones under attack. All because their kids might read about slavery in a textbook. So yeah, I said it. Generational professional victims. And the reason it's so messy is because some of them don't even see it. They've worn the costume for so long they think it's their skin. And let me be clear, I am not villainizing every white person. But just like women say about men, until it's none of you, it's all of you. So the truth, if equality feels like oppression, is because you were never taught what equality actually looks like. And history shows us that the loudest cries of victimhood have almost always come from the people holding the whip.
Y'all, black Americans are playing a cold ass game right now, and motherfuckers do not know what to do with this shit. When I tell y'all we got people lost in the motherfucking sauce, we got people lost in the motherfucking sauce, y'all. And you know what I think it is? You know why I think we got people lost? Because we all keep saying it, right? We all keep saying black Americans have this thing where we can telepathically communicate with each other. We don't have to talk. We don't gotta do none of that. Okay? We all reading the tea leaves. We all see what's going on, and we all thinking the same thing. It's like when we don't even know each other. We just be in a room together and something happened and we'd be like, that's what we're doing. And so you got people running around like, we need to organize. Bitch, we already organized. We trying to figure out why the fuck you wasn't at the meeting. How'd you miss it? We need to plan. We need to get prepared. We already planned it. We already prepared. How the fuck did you miss it? That lets us know that something real off with you. Because how you missing all the meetings? How you not getting the downloads that the rest of us is getting? Why are you disconnected from the source? Why you ain't got the thing that we all got, right? So they still running around trying to fearmonger, trying to throw shit on the wall, trying to get us outside. We not coming outside. I don't even feel like we need to explain why we not coming outside, because I feel like anybody that's really down with black American people know good and motherfucking well why we not coming outside. Like, I literally seen this video earlier today of this white woman, and she was explaining the whole thing. When I tell y'all that lady nailed that shit, Her whole take was completely accurate, even though I was like, come on now, you're a little too loud because you really calling the play and you need to chill the fuck out. But, you know, we're going to let you do what you do or whatever, because hopefully not too many people see this shit. I hate to say that. I want people's content to be seen, but not that one. Okay, because she was too accurate of what the fuck was going on. Okay, she even used, I like to compare things to like narcissistic relationships. She said black Americans have been in a narcissistically abusive relationship with the American government, so they know more about what is going on right now, and more about what the government is doing, and more about what tactics will be rolled out ahead of time, and they are already maneuvering. And she was even talking about the resting thing. She was like, they said resting, but it doesn't really mean resting. right? That's not what it means. But what it means is they not all outside with what the fuck they got going on. They not all outside talking. Okay, they know everything. Nobody needs to get up here and explain shit to them. They know more than all of us do. Because they have been dealing with this. She was like, basically the glimpse that we are receiving now of this system, they have seen the full head and tail of the beast a long time ago. Okay, so she was like, things that they're doing is not making sense to those who don't get it and those who cannot fathom the depths of the depravity that they have experienced and have seen. And that's what Black Americans are basically developing their strategy from. And so she was like, if anything, she was like, it's one of those situations where she's like, you know how like they say when Black people run, you run. She's like, it's like that. She's like, I'm not running until they run. They ain't running. If they not running, why the hell am I going to listen to someone telling me to run? If someone's telling me to run and I see that Black Americans ain't running, I'm going to sit the hell down. Because they know more about what is going on, but they're not vocalizing it to y'all. When honestly and truthfully, she was like, Black people shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to. Black people shouldn't have to come out here and tell y'all what the fuck to do when really you're going to argue with them and say they don't know what they're doing or what they're talking about. She's like, because basically that's what y'all do anyway. They're resting. They're not doing anything. She's like, they're doing a whole fucking lot. It's just not on Front Street. And I was like, girl, you better talk, girl. You better talk, because that's it. We know a whole lot of what's going on. Black Americans are not stupid, dumb, deaf, dumb or blind, none of that. We know more about what's happening next than y'all do. Okay? So we trust our path. We trust our path, but Black Americans, don't y'all get caught up in this shit. It's other Black groups, other POCs trying to drag us in shit. Stick to hold the motherfucking line. I know I don't have to tell y'all that, but hold the motherfucking line, baby. Hold the line. These people trying to get us in some shit. They trying to put the target on our back. Hell no. Hell the fuck no. We ain't going out like that. Okay? We ain't going out like that. Have a good day. We up still. And we already knew the bullshit ass tactics that they was going to do. So these people need to stop making these videos thinking that this little bullshit going to get us to come outside. No, we already knew. We know their wrath better than y'all do. We know their tactics and shit better than y'all do.
Constantly is Black owned. People don't even realize that. I said, start going on our apps. Get y'all behind off some of these people apps who literally funding your downfall. Like the T-App dude. Like the damn Clubhouse dudes. And they're using this valuation. I'm slowly trying to get off of Instagram. I'm migrating stuff to fan base. You know, same thing with TikTok, same thing with Facebook. These white supremacist infrastructure people feel like they have us so comfortable that we can't move outside of them and to get what we getting from them. Y'all better understand the same way some of these immigrants did and moving in, that was American mindset that everybody had to get their own because it allowed more companies to give y'all more mortgages. Because if 5 people in the house, the parents and the 3 kids, they saw 5 mortgages. Yeah. Well, 4 mortgages. So practice that. People like, man, I can't move with my cousin.
Hispanics do that all the time.
But some people are good people and would let you do that because it alleviates the money coming out of their pocket. These are just small group economic things y'all can do, but stop feeling like you gotta have all this money or you gotta be on stage with these people who talking about invest fast and all this stuff like that. That is not where you have to be at to start mentally saying, how do we work together? Like he said, start going on the fan base and join fan base. You know, go on calendar.
Black American delineation has nothing to do with anti-African, anti-Caribbean, or anti-other Black nations. It's about preserving culture, preserving inheritance, setting aside a particular group so that they are not forgotten. They don't want their ancestors, the sacrifice of their ancestors. They don't want the sacrifice of their people to be forgotten. You say that they don't have culture. You say that they don't have identity. And when they decide to set themselves apart, you say that they shouldn't. And no other culture is expected to absorb everybody else except Black Americans. You don't go to Jamaica and say, you got to accept us as Jamaican. You don't go to Haiti and say, you got to accept us as Haitian. Everybody else can have their identity, but when it comes to Black Americans wanting to set themselves apart, you say, oh no, you guys you're xenophobic, you're Zionists. No, stop gaslighting them. Are there some extremists? Yes. But that doesn't represent the whole group. It's important that this group is set aside because they do have an inheritance. They have a special tie to this land and a special history to this land, and they deserve that observation.
I'm finna say two things that y'all think aren't related, but they're absolutely related. And the common thread is going to be that they're rooted in white supremacy and elitism, okay? Mean Girls and Pilates, and the reason why Pete Hegseth doesn't want Black and brown people or women in the military. Now, before you say I'm out of my mind and I'm deranged and maybe I need to put on a 10 hat or go 5150, let me cook, okay? For starters, I'm a 24-year retired Air Force veteran, right? I came from a family that did not have the money to send me to college. I did do well in school. I did get scholarships. I could have went on scholarships, but because I had a family that was struggling financially, I was a little bit scared to go to college because I was afraid to take out loans if I needed to, because I had seen how loans had put a lot of my family in debt in ways that they could not get out of, and I didn't want any parts of that, right? So I decided to go into the military. Long story short, what was supposed to be 4 years turned into 24. Okay, in those 24 years, I managed to get 3 degrees completely free. All right, I got 100% tuition. My 3 degrees were completely free. I managed to get at least 2 different certifications completely free. I got my GI Bill and transferred my GI Bill to my son, who can now go to college completely free. I'm also a 100% disabled veteran, permanent and total. So my son can also go to school based off of Chapter 35, I believe it is, completely free. I was able to buy a house with the VA home loan, okay? And because the VA home loan guarantees up to $450,000, and I bought my house in Texas a little over, coming up on almost 20 years ago. We're a few years shy of 20 years that I bought that house. So I have about $350,000 left of that I can put into another home loan, guaranteed home loan, because you can use up to 400. I think it's 400,000, not 450,000. So I might have 250. I don't know. Anyway, point is, I amassed all of that while I was in the military, plus hard and soft skills that made me very marketable when I retired, so much so that I was able to walk into a training director role. And when I decided that the workforce just wasn't for me, I was able at 44, actually right before I turned 43 years old, I was able to say, you know what, I don't want to go back to work anymore, and I don't have to for the rest of my life. Now, you may be wondering what all that has to do with what I just said. All of that has to do with what I just said because there are plenty more Black people who have came into the military, Black and brown people, and women who have came in the military who played that same long game. So not only are they pissed that these people are excelling in rank within the military and quote unquote taking their positions from them, when ain't nobody taking shit from them. We're just good at our jobs and got promoted on merit. We're also creating generational wealth in ways that they never want us to create generational wealth. Hence Jim Crow and segregation and all of the other things they had going on, right? And burning down anything, any town, any Black town that tried to do well for itself, right? So there's that. So that's why they want them out the military. You could talk about other things, and I'm not saying that other things don't have merit, but that's the biggest reason, because we're creating wealth and we're in places that they don't think we should be. Think about the Jay-Z song, the Beyonce and Jay-Z album, The Carters, and the song Nice, where he says, time to remind me I'm Black again, huh? All that talking back, I'm too arrogant, huh? They have felt that way since Barack Obama became president, because they assumed that we were proud that we finally got one Black president, that we were being arrogant. And we weren't. We were just being proud. Right? So that's the military piece, right? Now, going back to Pilates and Mean Girls, same Same concept, different font, right? Same racism, same classism, same elitism, different font. Most women that take Pilates believe Pilates is an expensive course that should be reserved for people who are affluent and have money. So when they see black and brown women in there, they naturally assume we're not affluent and we don't have money. And I know, baby, I be pissing them off coming because I keep braids, locks, sew-ins, all types of different hairstyles. And typically my nails will be done. They're not done now because I waited too late to take them off and schedule my appointment with my tech, but that's okay because next weekend I'll be back to being a baddie. Well, I'm still a baddie, but y'all know what I'm saying. Anyway, point is, they see me with the long nails that they assume are ghetto, with the different hairstyles that they assume are ghetto, me walking in because it's hot in there when we get to work, and at least for me, with this jacket on, but when I take it off, I got on bra tops with abs underneath. You know what I mean? And I'm wearing most of my crystal copper bracelets and things like that. Long story short, I'm unapologetically black when I walk into those spaces, waist beads and all, and they see that and they think I don't belong. I shouldn't be there. Why am I there? Why am I taking classes in mid-afternoon? Why ain't somewhere at work hustling? Why ain't somewhere struggling? Okay, that's what a lot of this boils down to. And some of it, for most of the white women, it's gonna be racism mixed with classism. But there are some black women who are out there being mean too, as we've seen lately with some of these black women coming on this app talking about Pilates and different bodies that should and shouldn't be in Pilates. That is their proximity to whiteness showing, as well as their elitism, classism showing. So, like I said in the beginning, I was gonna sound crazy, but I was gonna make it all relate. I'm curious as to what y'all thoughts are about this. So please drop down in the comments and let me know, did I cook? Or do I need to get back in the kitchen because the meal is still undone? Okay? All right. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all.
African living in the United States, I used to share the same sentiment that Africans share about African Americans because I had a hard time when I first moved here. People used to always tell me, you're not black enough, you're an Oreo, you're secretly white on the inside, as if I wasn't literally from Africa. But I now understand after living here for 8 years that black in the United States is a very specific criteria and anything outside of that just doesn't fit. But I want to help African Americans understand that Africans coming to the United States are immigrants first and foremost. Then they are Nigerian or Senegalese or whatever country they're from. And then at some point they are black. But Africans don't put black high up on their identity well as much as African Americans do. And that is for legitimate reasons on both ends. And so when an African is coming to the United States, they're thinking to themselves, okay, I'm an immigrant here. I have to do my best for myself and my family back home. The sacrifices that took for me to get here were no light work. Okay, so I need to really align myself with what's going to make me successful in this country. And because it's the United States, it's the dominant culture, which is white American culture. And so Africans are going to instinctively ally themselves with the culture that's going to give them the most success. I mean, African Americans even admit that they have to code switch to be successful here because that's what brings success. And so Africans are like, all right, we'll do that. And it also doesn't help that for a long time, Africans are fed a very negative view of Black American culture, and that's its own propaganda. But because Africans are so conservative and they're coming to a country where Black Americans have been labeled as the antithesis to this conservative traditional family values, they have, if anything, more in common with Southern Baptist white racist people. But that aside, going back to identity markers, Black Americans put Black first and foremost, and then everything else goes below it. And so they're thinking when another Black people come to our country, they're going to want to integrate with us, the other Black people, because Black comes first. And they get quickly disappointed in realizing that for Africans, Black and the identity and that coming is not first. Their immigrant identity comes first, and then their country. And if anything, for us as Africans to feel like that's my brother, that's my brethren, or whatever, you have to come from the same tribe as us, because we have so many Black people around, we don't automatically pre-select for Black. But Black Americans don't have so many Black people around, have had to defend and protect their culture amidst a dominant white culture, and so they are already pre-select and are overprotective for Black. And so that's why I think at the core of it, there's like a deep misunderstanding because of not realizing that we put where we put our identity markers and what we put first and what we prioritize are so different culturally because of our differences in trauma, realistically. And so it does make sense that Black Americans will be like, oh, my people, my brethrens come here, and Africans coming to the United States are like, I'm just trying to make it here. Like, it's a lot of work to immigrate to the United States. And so y'all can stay over there, and I can see why it's hurtful, and I can see why it's taken personally, and I can see the deep misunderstanding and the betrayal that African Americans feel. But it's unfortunate, and that's just a reality. But if we can talk about it from this perspective, I think we can get to a better understanding. But I also believe that Africans that spend enough time in the United States get to this compassion and understanding of the Black American community, because it is a very unique and specific set of circumstances for a culture to grow and to develop.
Welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for watching all of that clip that I have for you guys. The truth is, every single person actually wants to be Black, but they don't understand what it means to be Black Americans until they finally get to understand what racism is. Racism has been one of the worst things that I've actually dealt with a lot of Black folks. Because why? To a lot of people, they are not even seeing it as a problem. They see it as Black people have even more privilege. But that's why sometimes I look at the picture and I ask myself, why do Black people have to go the same thing over and over again? And then you'll start seeing their videos online like, I wish I'm Black, I wish I have the color, I wish I have the hair, I wish I have the style, I wish I have the music, I wish I have the afro, I wish I have the taste, different thing. But when it comes to the reality, there will still bite Black Americans and then blow them breeze. Just like the story of the Asian woman that just recently called Black people coward. This Asian woman has literally been supporting the Black community. She has literally wished to be in the Black community. She has literally wished to be born Black. She has literally wished she is one of the indigenous people in America. But things turn out that every single thing she was actually wishing for was just because she actually wants to just get views, comments from the Black community, because she knows that a lot of Black people do well to support themselves as content creators, and aside that, support other people that actually talk about them as content creators. And when she have seen that she have actually built that particular audience, she now have to make a twist and be like, why are Black people not even protesting with the Asian community? Why are Black people distancing away from them after she should have been able to keep supporting and keep talking about Black? And then she called Black people coward, and then she started playing the victim card. You can see why I said in my first part of my video that you don't just only wish to be Black. Are you ready to go through what Black people are going through? Are you ready to go through their pains? Are you ready to take their troubles as yours? Are you even ready to come through for them when they really need someone to come through for them? Because the honest truth is, a lot of Black Americans have been taken for granted because of their kind-hearted. Because they can literally not see this person and just forget about this person. They will always want to come through. They will always want to fight. They will always want to make sure that you are okay. But how many people are making sure that Black people are okay? How many people are making sure that Black Americans' fight is their fight? How many people are making sure that whenever Black American needs help, they are going to be coming through for them? I don't see it. I don't see it. What I see is blasphemy. What I see is hypocritical. What I see is people just coming to make it look like, oh, we can just stand by them. And then at the end of the day, they just disappear. Because even when they are coming and talking about Black people and you think that they're actually doing the best for Black people, it turns out that that particular thing they are doing, it is just for their own selfish interests and for their own selfish gain. But anyways, let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I want to get your honest opinion in the comment section. Anyways, with no further ado, I'd like to see in my videos. I'm going to be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. And you as a Black American, make sure you stay hooked and make sure you protect yourself and protect your fellow Blacks. That is what I have to say.